Hello! How goes it, everyone? How are we doing today? Bags, I've been playing Stalker quite a bit on the Series X. You're about to see some really shoddy gameplay, but this is my gameplay. Apologies for being late today. As some of you know from yesterday, uh, basically my mum's in hospital, and it's been 3 days since I've been able to contact her. We finally managed to get through today. All good, thankfully. So that's definitely a plus. But yeah, that's why I was late. But how is everyone doing? Oh no, you don't get that chill music on. Yo, Steve, how's Microsoft Flight Sim going? Hmm. That's better. Byron, I am doing great. I'm doing great. I've got tomorrow off, which is good. Get some gaming in. I think I've put like what 6-7 hours into this game now. I'm enjoying it. Look at those precision shots right there. I mean, some people say it's playable. They're having no issues whatsoever. And for others, it's a complete train wreck. Are you saying D-Batch is lying? He posted videos. Surely D-Batch is not lying. He posted videos. He has video evidence of him flying a plane. Stalker 2, Stalker 2, Stalker 2. Microsoft well and truly screwed them. If Microsoft were the ones that sent out the review codes, they well and truly screwed them hard. I mean, people saying that this game is unplayable is beyond a joke. It's literally beyond a joke. Well, here's the thing, Arthur. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of save scrubbing. It's a thing. But the review codes that went out to people went out without the day 0 or the day 1 patch. And I was shown today what the review code looked like. Someone that I know live streamed it for me on Discord. It was bad. It was bad. It was quite bad. I don't know why the game was reviewed in that state. Why they even bothered giving review codes out in that state when the day 1 patch had the day 0 patch, the 140 gig patch, had over 1,000 fixes. Over 1,000. Like, what's the point in sending a review code out that is that buggy? It doesn't make sense to me. Just wait till the game is released and let everyone review it once the day 0 and day 1 patch is released. That's it. That's what they should have done. The game has definitely taken a downgrade, right? I mean, if we look at what the trailers were like previously as opposed to what we're seeing here, and obviously this is the Series X. Graphical fidelity wise, there's been a downgrade. It's not at the performance that it was. It's a fun game. It's a good game. That shouldn't be taken away from it. But it's nowhere near as bad as. I mean, it's nothing like what people are saying. Right? I'm not that far in yet. But you will die a lot on this game. You will die a lot. You make the wrong move, you're dead. You peek your head out when you're not supposed to, you're dead. Walk into the wrong crowd, you're dead. Say hi to the wrong crowd, you're dead. But basically, every single review out there is a waste of time. There's no point in reading a single review, whether it's IGN, SkillUp. None of them are worth reading. None of them are worth watching because they're all basically pre-patch. Like it's a complete waste of time. None of those reviews are thing. I mean, there's bugs in the game, right? You just saw one right there. I mean, you've got a few graphical things here and there, but when people say it was cyberpunk level bad, no way, no chance, not happening. I wouldn't say it's deserving of a Game of the Year nomination. No. Not yet, anyway. Not from what I've played. I'm still going through the story, so we'll see how it goes. But it's a good game. I'd say probably 80-85. It's not a 90. It's not good enough to get to a 90. What, this game drops in the teens? I've not seen it. Godzilla. This is my gameplay on the Series X. I've not seen it drop down to the teens. I've noticed it dropping down to the 40s, and it's usually hovering around 45 to 55 when it does get into the busy areas, but I don't know. I mean, everyone has their own opinion, right, Steve? But even if it could have been nominated for Game of the Year, right? Let's just hypothetically say that the game released and it had the day 1 patch all fixed and everything. At the end of the day, Microsoft had no faith in it. I mean, Microsoft made the choice to release it outside the window. Right? And at the end of the day, Microsoft needs to stop fumbling. I mean, the game looks nice. In certain areas, it looks absolutely beautiful. Certain NPCs look really, really nice. I think I'm going to die here. But yeah, certain NPCs look really cool. really well done, and then some of them just look like they phoned it in. Elden Ring shouldn't be there, that's for sure. Probably. I don't know about Flight Sim, but Gears probably not. That's the thing, Godzilla. I feel the same. It's not perfect. It's a little rough around the edges, but the way people are drastically blowing it out of proportion, like Blue Urkel, it's ain't it? There's a lot of disingenuous people out there, and it's a shame because they know that it's nowhere near as bad as it is after everything that studio's gone through in order to finish the game finally, and the way people are reacting is just disgraceful in my opinion. David, it's just optimization. There's a lot going on. Yeah? Huh? I don't have it. It's over there somewhere. Again, that's bags. That's on Xbox. At the end of the day, that's something that they need to fix. They need to rectify, and they need to sort out. But again, I'm still early in the game. Like I said, I've got like 6 hours on the game, maybe 7. I recorded some footage today because I want to do a review on it once I finish the game. Did some side quests and stuff. They're quite cool. Side quests are actually quite decent. But my opinion might change as I get further into the game. It doesn't have a lot of bugs, Slimy. I mean, this is gameplay. Have you noticed any bugs yet? Outside of the guy jumping? This is the Series X. Are you falling through the floor? Hey, Sanchez. But Microsoft has a problem. In my opinion, this game should have maybe been pushed back. At the end of the day, if it's not ready to come out, don't release it. Someone inside must have turned around and said, "Hey, look, these review codes going out to people, maybe we shouldn't send it in this state because it's going to get completely trashed." I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Considering these people are paid a hell of a lot of money and way more than I do, you have to wonder at some point where the critical thinking is and when they have to start, realizing that some of the people that are making these decisions shouldn't have a job in making those decisions. They should be demoted or just fired. And I'm never going to be one to champion people losing their jobs, but at the end of the day, if you're costing the company money, you are going to lose your job. It's that simple. Stupid is stupid, and that is... What's up?
When you're done with that, when you're done with one of the albums.
Which one?
One of them.
This?
Yeah.
You want this? Just drink it. there's no assumptions to be made. After Redfall, things should have been on high alert. I mean, when Flight Sim 2020 released and it was bugged to 9 heavens, I remember that. People still didn't care because you could still play it. It was playable and people were having fun. I know this is their first time doing the cloud hybrid, but it's almost like they did no real world testing. They should have known that this was going to happen. You know, UAT testing is for that purpose, literally for that reason. No, bottom line, if it's not ready, don't release it. It's not like this is going to be this would have been the first year where they haven't released, 4 games in a year. No, I'm going to be as real as possible. I think the game is really good. This is, I mean, in terms of playing these sorts of games, the first one that I played was a game called Chernobylite, which is very similar to this. Sorry, Cha. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I haven't played the previous Stalkers, but I have played a game called Chernobylite. And Chernobylite is very similar to this, except it's not a massive open world. It's instance-based, and you have a lot of building, which I didn't enjoy much, because you all know I don't enjoy games that require you to build stuff. Hence why Power World isn't on my favorite games list, because that pretty much requires you to build bases, and I don't enjoy that. It's one of my most hated features in a video game. I don't want to build stuff, I just want to play a story. But this is so far, this is a good game. So you're going to see a bug here now. You'll probably see it later because I actually highlight it. The guy is actually levitating off the bed. It's quite funny. But in the end, it's just, I don't know. I think people have been way too harsh on it. The day zero bugs, the review bugs don't reflect the game at all. I think janky is the word that's best to describe it. But what people are saying, Duck, isn't janky. They are talking about actual... I mean, some reviewers are saying that this game released more broken than Cyberpunk 2077. I've even seen some say that it released worse than Anthem, which didn't even boot. Anthem, you pretty much couldn't even stay logged into the server. You were getting kicked if you managed to get in. It was broken beyond anything. But to say that this game is more broken than those two at launch, that's just disingenuous. Hey, Punkalicious. When I played today, I didn't notice the controller drift. Anthem actually is, Arthur, no joke, no bait, is one of my favorite games. See, there's a bug, right? It's not a game-breaking bug. It's a bug. And I purposefully highlighted that when I saw it. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that there is literally no bugs in the game. But the way people are going, where people things are, it's not it. People just, in my opinion, what's happened here is that because it's unfortunately not on the blue box, it's been hated quite a bit, and Microsoft didn't help it by the fact that it decided to send out review codes based on a broken build. Like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. I'm not talking about the PC version. I'm talking about the Series X version. I can't talk for the PC version. Fantas Archer, I have something to say to you. Do you remember sometime last year when I said that releasing the games on Xbox in order to meet a deadline, not on Xbox, on Game Pass, was more important than the quality of the game? This was when Forza Motorsport released. And I said that game shouldn't have been released, and if it wasn't for Game Pass, it probably wouldn't have been pushed out. And I got slated for it. Hardcore. Like, people were really after me for that comment. But I stand by it today. And you just said it yourself. In order to maintain momentum, to keep Game Pass subscriptions, they are pushing games that are not ready. And hopefully fixing them after. It's just a thing. I mean, the bottom line is, after Redfall, you're supposed to learn lessons. Pushing games out that are not ready, pushing games out that are broken, sending broken review codes should not be happening. Dude, Spider-Man had some crazy bugs. In fact, one of them where it desyncs your whole system in audio. I managed to reproduce it and send it to my contact at Sony, which I actually got a reply back where they actually appreciated the steps to reproduce it, which was quite nice. But yeah, that had some crazy bugs that could happen, especially the Spider Cube. That was Spider Cube was hilarious. Mate, my aiming is legendary. I did like this area. Once when the weather went into this crazy style, it was really nice. For me, it was I also encountered an actual blocker where I was basically stuck and I couldn't, my quest bugged out and I couldn't physically continue on Spider-Man 2. I had to reload a previous save. It happens. But yeah, it's Microsoft just needs to do better. And whoever pushed the, I mean, Microsoft Flight Sim is probably, in my opinion, the bigger culprit here. Like, as Steve will tell you, That game wasn't even, people couldn't even log in. This game isn't using the Unreal Engine, is it? The Unreal Engine 5. Hey, Remy. How are you doing? I'm doing good, thanks. Ventura, you are a great troll. Oh, Stalker is using UE5. That explains the performance. Okay, that actually does explain the performance. Because there are sections where it does hit 60. There are. But it usually hovers around 50. But, there is a big but there. With VRR, I don't have VRR, unfortunately, a VRR TV, enabled TV. That should fix it, right? That should iron it out at 60 FPS. Because the game doesn't really drop below 40, and on Xbox, you only need to hit 40 to enable VRR. So, in theory, that should be enough to set it to 60. Sanchez, I downloaded 150 gig and then downloaded 140 gig patch. That's what you called. That is one hell of a patch. Rabbi, I'm doing alright. A little jaded, but I'm alright. No. Duck of Death. Stress testing is fine. You know, that's not real world testing. When I was in the games industry and I was testing, because I've helped deliver 2 or 3 multiplayer games, and one of the things that we had to do, which I understand why they don't want to do it, because once that data goes into the public domain, it can be revealed, and obviously people don't want that, especially when they're not ready to reveal what they're working on. But once you get close enough, you have to do real world testing, right? So we were basically taking our our test machines home at times, and a select group, and overnight, in the evening, we would basically spend like an hour or two playing the multiplayer to see how the network communicates with each other. In the office, in a controlled environment, it worked flawlessly. But outside, once you've got external influences coming in and external traffic through the data vines, will that impact it? And we'd usually find it does, and then we'd get that data back to the devs so they could work on it. I'm guessing they didn't do any real world testing. All they did, I mean, stress testing is fine. That's not real world testing, though. There's a difference between going out and using a public ISP and not using one and doing your stuff. It's just silly. And I know why they don't do it, especially from a security standpoint. But I think more companies need to do it. And it's weird because speaking to some of my friends who are still in the games industry, they don't do it. They don't test on public domains for obvious reasons. But even towards the end, when you kind of need to, they still don't do it. I did not say zero bugs. Well, that's unfortunate for you, Rebby. I'm not experiencing any. This is my gameplay on the Series X. Almost no bugs. That's so Ti. I haven't tried it on PC. I know Steve has, and he's had a couple of issues with the 4090, but other than that, he said it ran pretty well. I haven't even managed to get around to it yet, Arthur. I bought it, but I haven't. Yeah, I said there's minor bugs, but not game-breaking bugs. No one cares if he's levitating off a bed. But again, the biggest problem here that I find is, why those review codes were sent out. It just doesn't make sense. If you know that the review codes are broken, why bother sending them? I mean, to be fair, Starfield, they made a meal out of nothing. They expected Starfield to be something it wasn't. And Todd clearly told you in the deep dive exactly what it was. But people still thought it was going to be something it wasn't. That's a people problem and not a game problem. Because the review codes were broken, Automata. They didn't have the day 1 patch. They didn't have the day 0 patch. Hey, look, shut up. You guys messed me up with that one, man. I'm there wondering, why am I dying here? And these guys are all laughing at me and everything. Turns out that I was going the wrong... I think I was going the wrong way, and the game didn't want me to go there, so it was killing me instead. At least that's what I think was happening. I still don't understand why I was dying. Hey, Devin. I know, right? A community that stays there laughing their heads off while I'm trying to figure out why I'm doing. But you know what? At least one good Samaritan came through and saved the day for me, right? One good Samaritan came through. Even though Steve was very displeased at that good Samaritan. If I see it green on Steam, it's all good. I mean, as far as Steam numbers are concerned, it's doing alright, right? People are generally happy on Steam. So it peaked at 117,000. I mean, that was today. In the last 24 hours, it peaked at 117,000, and there's 116,000 people playing it right now. I mean, the game's doing right. It's also got more people enjoying it than less. So, as far as I'm concerned, those numbers are, great compared to what we've been seeing recently. Look, I I didn't get electrocuted. I saw no lightning. My guy just decided to think he was Goku and start generating all sorts of key energy and then just blew up. That's what happened. Don't forget, this game is also available on PC Game Pass as well. So if you take those users into account as well, you're probably looking at a concurrent user of probably about, give or take, maybe 130,000, 140,000. That's not bad. Maybe more. I mean, Spider Man did have bugs. Everyone knows Spider Man had bugs. Yeah, that's what that is lowballing it, Susano. But Flight Simulator is a completely different matter, right? Flight Sim is just. It's crazy how Flight Sim managed to come out in that state. I just don't get it. I don't. I do not get it. Honestly, like I said, Steve, having played Chernobylite, I kind of know what sort of game it is. And the survival aspect of it, in my opinion, is nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. You've got to eat a bit of food for regen. Your health doesn't regen normally like you expect it in first person shooters where it just auto regens. If you find a bed that you can sleep in at the base camp, then that will regen refill your health. Otherwise, you've got to use your rations wisely. So there's a lot more strategic element to the game, which is fine, right? It doesn't feel over encompassing or burdening on the player. And that's how it should be. Some games kind of take it to the next level, and I don't like that, especially when they kind of try to replace the gameplay with the survival aspect of it, and that just, it's almost like layers upon layer to make it more difficult than it needs to be. I think Stalker's balance with that is actually quite good. For someone that absolutely despises that sort of mechanic in a video game, this one I don't mind. It's actually even less than the one from Chernobylite. You're feeling regret? Mate, I'm feeling regret just playing on normal. You die a lot. Yeah, veteran I think is normal. But, I mean, literally, you will die a lot in this game. What's that, Remy? What, a game now? No, not right now, Rebby. This isn't the stream for it. Stalker is the one. Hey, look, there's a rookie mode that's designed directly for me. Everyone knows that rookie is designed for me. I should have just went in with rookie and been satisfied. But no. These guys bullied me into, well, actually they tried to bully me into hardcore mode, and I was like, no, that we don't. I'm not that sadistic. Rabbi, the reason why I don't do it on the YouTube channel is because, in terms of viewers, not many turn up, and it damages the channel's algorithm. That's it. It hurts the channel. This channel isn't really designed for gaming, streams. And when I do gaming streams, it really hurts the channel. I mean, not that the channel's in the greatest state at the moment, but going out your way to murder it even more isn't on my bingo cards. Yeah, no problem, Arthur. Definitely. Don't forget, chat, tomorrow night we are doing a members stream. So if you are a YouTube member, then you should have got a notification for the actual stream tomorrow. So we'll be playing Call of Duty, Fall Guys, and if we have some time and if people want, depending on the turnout, maybe some Halo. I'll have a look at it, Rebby. If it's a good preview, I will make a video on it. Steve's like, and stay out. And it's my birthday tomorrow as well, so should be a good time. I know, right? I'm finally turning 21. It's crazy. I can actually finally go and buy alcohol in every place. Oh, Byron, that's been going on for a while. Punkalicious, it's not going. I'm still waiting. I'm hoping something will, Christmas spirit and all, and the festive chimes, and hopefully we'll get some Christmas magic and they'll give us a permanent place. But at the moment we're still in temporary and waiting. You're missing a few zeros. Hey, look. Someone asked me today, what was your first console? And I said Atari 2600. I felt so young. I felt like a spring chicken. You see? Cesano's doing it right. Cheers, Diablo. Of course, Sandra. When my parents came here in 76, I think it was 76, or early 70s anyway. One of the first things they did was, respect the traditions and holidays that we have here. And they instilled that in all of us. So Easter, Halloween, Christmas, the whole lot. I hope so, Punkalicious. I hope so. I saw the ColecoVisions. I never had one though. Taz, you just want food. I don't know if it's 60. I know the video is pretty heavy, so this is the raw video file that I recorded today when I was playing, so it's not had any compression applied to it. But the game doesn't run 60 anyway, so I mean it does in places, but not in others. It looks fine on my end. Let me see how it looks on your end. Oh. Even looks a little muddy. It'll be fine. But yeah, Microsoft just needs to do better, guys. That's the bottom line. They can't be pushing games out that aren't ready. And at the end of the day, if UE5 is a problem, they need to look at other engines. They pick UE5 because it's a business decision, right? At the end of the day, using a custom engine and the way Microsoft works with their engines, it doesn't work with their contractors, and they don't hire, they bring in a lot of freelancers. It just doesn't work. But you know what would work? You guys dropping a few more likes. That would definitely work. Just putting it out there. I think that would work. But what's your thoughts? Like, genuinely thinking about it. Does Microsoft have a problem in pushing games out too early? I mean, can we... Do you think that's a thing? But isn't a Metro completely different to this sort of game? Metro is very linear, isn't it? When you get your age chaos, there is no need to talk about birthdays. Much like me, time is ticking. Care less about me. Just hey, I still like to get some shinies, Mackie. Hey, Chille, how's it going, buddy? How's it going? How's it going? Well, here's the thing, right? I'm seeing the same people that bigged up. I'm I'm a little worried with Avowed because the same people that bigged up Redfall and said it ran amazing, 60 FPS, 19K resolution, said that, you know, Stalker 2 ran 24K resolution, 500 DPS, you know, graphical fidelity surpassing that of a 7090. And now they're saying the same thing about Avowed. They've gone from 24K to 48K resolution. You know, we're going 1000 frames per second. And now they're talking about stupidity of a, 1990 graphics card equivalence in terms of graphics. So the same people are bigging it up in the exact same way. So I hope it's not a bad omen. Chille Final Fantasy Mobile 14 Mobile is going to be sick. I know it's a standalone thing, and that's a little disappointing, I guess, because at least if it wasn't, then I could go in and do some mining. But it's a standalone single player thing, so we'll see how it goes. It's gonna kill your phone and your battery. I don't know how that's gonna run properly on anything other than the latest handhelds, though. I'm not so sure, Duck. I'm not so sure. That seems like a cop out. Well, that's the thing. Games now need to be like super big maps, and the moment you start doing that, you've got to think about everything else that goes with it and start making compromises. Sandra, it was. Final Fantasy 14 is now officially available to play on mobile. That's gonna be fun. I don't even know how that's even how someone can even do that. Hey, Chille, there's a challenge for you. Play the current Final Fantasy 14 on your mobile. I mean, the buck in the end does stop with Microsoft. But In that situation, I'm not sure. Because it's not uncommon for publishers to turn around and say, we want you to say this, and if you don't say it, you're going to be blacklisted. So you have a choice. You can continue getting free review codes, flights out to see us, all of this and all of that, or it can all stop. What would you prefer? And the average person is going to say, please don't stop. Look, Bags, all I can say is after Microsoft Flight Simulator, I was surprised that Steve was still singing high praises his name. Like seriously, I was I was genuinely surprised that he was singing his name in high praise. See? He totally admitted it. Do you know what though? It takes a special kind of person to admit that sort of thing. So I'm proud of you, dude. I'm proud. Super, super proud. But yeah, I just want Xbox to do better. I want them to compete better. I want them to just be better. Because when they're better all round, it's better for gaming in general. That's my opinion. They just need to be better. Chat. You see this, right? You see that? Does anyone actually want to drop this dude an email and give him your condolences? No, the game did really well on PC. Right? Day one, close to what, 700,000, 700,000, about 800,000 sales? That's not bad at all. Oh, there you go. Susano's noticed what's going on here. Come on, you guys haven't noticed? Yeah, even like all this talk, and you're seeing how people are saying how, you know, I mean, even like to a lesser degree, even I said, and I still do believe that Game Awards should be January to December. But it's established that it's not January to December. That is something that's been established for a while. Even though I do believe it should be, it's not. The date set by Microsoft was specifically done to keep it out of the Game of the Year awards. So, at some point, people need to start pointing the fingers in the right direction, is what I'll say. But not with this guy. This guy is crazy. This guy can't, even though it says top sellers, he still thinks it means top players. Now, I know I need glasses, and I'm going to the opticians on Saturday to get my new prescriptions. But one cannot be this dumb. You cannot be this dumb. This level of stupid should not be allowed. This level of stupid should not be allowed. Do you know what? I didn't even see the Golden Joystick Awards. Let's have a look at it. Let's see what they got. I actually had a pretty harrowing day today. Do you know what, guys? Bing is absolutely shit. Bing is the worst search engine you could ever use. I actually decided to try and see what all the fuss was about. I actually liked the browser. Edge browser is actually really cool. But I thought, let me see, go through like 4 weeks of using Edge. It is by far one of the worst search engine you could use. It is so bad. Come on, is there nothing? All right. Golden Joystick. Best audio design, Astrobot. Really? That actually beat Hellblade? Seriously? I mean, it had cutesy sounds, but really? Best soundtrack, I can't comment, but I probably would have given it to Stellar Blade. Best storytelling, I heard Rebirth's story was absolutely horrendously bad. Best multiplayer game, I mean, they murdered their own game. Best visual design, that's dubious in itself. Best indie game, Balatro is taking everyone by storm. Self-published game, another treasure crab, that's well deserved. Studio of the year, I can agree with that. They made an absolutely awesome game. Best lead performer, no, I don't agree with this at all. Should have been the dude making the Astrobot sounds. Best supporting performer, yeah, I can agree with that. Especially that song she sang. Breakthrough Award, Critics' Choice, Balatro. Still Playing Award, Minecraft. That's interesting. Mobile Honkai Star Rail. Didn't that fall off like crazy? They've had like the worst drought they've had in a while. PC Game of the Year, Satisfactory. Wait, isn't that an old game that kind of came out? When did Satisfactory come out? I could have sworn my friend's been playing that for like donkeys. It was been in early access for like 3-4 years or whatever, but it comes out 1.0 came out this year, so it gets Game of the Year. Fuck off. Literally, fuck off. Console Game of the Year, Helldivers 2, hard disagree. Most Wanted game, obviously it's going to be GTA. Critics' Choice Awards, Helldivers 2 again. Best Game Expansion. See? See, Keely? It can be done. It can be done. You can actually have something here that is worthy of giving it to Elden Ring. Now, Bags, it was early access, but still. Best gaming hardware, Steam Deck OLED. No. I mean, for the money, yes, but for performance, no. Best early access game, Lethal Company. That's actually really fun. We should play it sometime. Best game trailers, Helldivers 2 again. No. Then again, I don't know what's actually better. I don't know what Chain Together is. Best game adaptation, Fallout. That's nothing. Ultimate Game of the Year. No way. You're telling me a 71 Metacritic got Ultimate Game of the Year? Oh shit. I don't know, Cliffo. I don't know. But you know what? Dustborn and Velgar didn't make it, so the world is healing. You see, Banks? That's what happens when the check clears. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Oh, I hope everything goes well, Paul. Wukong is on console. I'm surprised Powerboss didn't get best early access game. To be fair, considering it is now the third highest concurrent based player game of all time on Steam charts, and even higher if you include other platforms. But this is what I mean. Powerworld should have been nominated for something, at least won something. That game did phenomenal numbers at the start of the year. Mate, the PlayStation release of that game came and died instantly. that They were like, yeah, okay. So what you're saying, Ventura, it's all political, and that these events just mean absolutely fuck all. I mean, the lawsuit was for 65,000. If Power shit, they might actually find a $65,000 bill. That's nothing. Wait, are you telling me that the community doesn't make political votes? Nothing is sacred anymore, Bags. It's not just the media. Do you think that this whole shit is just the media? There are some really super excited people, I should say, that are very gung-ho for this stuff. Rabbi, so you want me to actually stop my stream right now and make a video? Black Myth wasn't broken, it just ran like shit. It had to urge your community demand. But yeah, it just ran like crap. Yeah, I'll have a look at it later, Remy. Remember when gaming was about gaming and not political? Cliffo, I do. Back in the good old SNES, Mega Drive days, even like when you entered the Sega Saturn and the PS1 days, had the Dreamcast, had some like great games on there, man. PS2, OG Xbox, great times for gaming. Do you remember when we used to get like a whole like suite of generation of games, like 2-3 versions of the franchise in one generation of a console? Now we'll be lucky to get one game per generation. Hellblade 2 should easily have won Best Visuals, but you know what? Have you noticed something, chat? Both Jeff Keighley's Game Awards and this over here. Have you noticed anything? They have Best Audio, Best Soundtrack, Best Storytelling, Best Multiplayer, but not... Visual design could be absolutely anything, but just raw graphics, they do not have it. They took it out. That got yeeted. Hellblade would have won that. In Jeff Keighley's awards, it's called Art Direction, which encompasses so much more than just raw graphics. Visual design isn't graphics, no. But it may include it factors in, but it's not the ultimate thing. Anything to do with best graphics, both of them removed as a thing, so they wouldn't have to give it to Hellblade. I mean, it's a thing. Art direction isn't graphics. I have no idea, Rebby. When it's ready, it'll be ready. I think so, Bags. At least I remember it. I remember it being there. I mean, it might not have been, but I remember it being there. Do you know what? I still remember. Was it? Good lord, fucking stop being, man. There it is. Now, how is this for a game name? Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha. Let's go! That's when you know, Chille, they are trolling. They are trolling hard. Come on. At that point, you know they are just trolling. I mean, Bags, what do you think should win Game of the Year? Nah, I don't think Black Myth deserves a thing. I mean, obviously Elden Ring's going to win it. That's a given. But Black Myth, I don't even think should be up there. But that's just my personal opinion. What do you mean the gamers think? Wait. Elaborate on that point, Bags. Elaborate on that point. I need some elaboration. What makes you think that the gamers think Black Myth deserves it clearly? I'm just curious. And how you actually know this. Not calling you out or anything, I'm just genuinely curious. JB, they need to release games within the window that aren't broken in order to get that. Well, in Jeff Keighley's, oh, you're talking about a golden joystick, not Jeff Keighley's nominations. I don't know how the BAFTAs work. But you know the whole of China was going to vote for it, right? So even if everyone else voted something different, China would still win. And you clearly saw how popular that game was in China as opposed to the rest of the world. When China was awake, it had over 3 million concurrent users. When China wasn't awake, it had somewhere in the region of like 150,000 users. Very similar to that of Stalker 2. Mate, do you think that they are not going to vote for something prestigious in their country? Do you know nothing about China at all? Like, literally, do you know nothing about that country? So I wouldn't put it past them if their government mandated them to play that shit. To make sure it riz up above. If you say so, Bags. If you say so. Just saying. And yet you're not telling me that it's not possible. The fact that you're not refuting it as being a thing that is absolutely impossible is telling me that it is possible. I'm very skeptical with that game. I knew it. I knew it, Bags. I knew it. I goddamn knew it. But you know what? Sega says that Atlas is one of the most successful acquisitions the company has ever done. Says that Metaphor's strong start was due to its high quality and using Sega's publishing power to launch the game simultaneously worldwide on multiple platforms. The key here being simultaneously worldwide on multiple platforms. It goes to show that if you release a game multiplat, it succeeds. If you don't, you get Square Enix executives saying it didn't meet our expectation. Yeah, Kira, that's sad. It's sad that it's blocked. I don't really. I think that's silly. But again, politics. I wouldn't say very unlikely. That's a very contentious thing to say, Bags. GSC did not block itself. It was banned by Russia first. At least from the article I read. I mean, worst case scenario, right? There's always the high seas. If you can't buy it, you go to the high seas. You live that life. Bloodies. I mean, just like those 188 countries that can't play PlayStation games, they instantly donned their hats, put the parrot on their shoulder, put the eye patch on. They sailed for the high seas. I mean, if that's the case, that's the case. I mean, if they pulled it, they pulled it. I just went from an article that I read. Man, so many PlayStation fans were really, really salty with me this week about that whole Kadokawa. They were really, really butthurt with me on that one, man. Like, it's like I said something about their mother or something. I mean, it's going to be banned in every way. They will not allow the game to run. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's not something that doesn't make sense, right? Oh, the article isn't wrong? Fair enough. I see where you're coming from. It's more of a case one banned it, then the other one followed suit and banned it as well. I mean, I get it. I get it. Did anyone see that thing Chille made me? It's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Thank you, Chille. The ongoing war, Sanchez. The ongoing war. The 1,000-day war. It's hit fever pitch. I know, right? I know. It was very well done. But it turns out that the hoofs were all out and they decided that they were totally coming for me. I don't understand why I'm their public enemy number one at the moment. I mean, you've got people that are really, really, really like delusionally pro Xbox. I'm a more realist Xbox fan, right? Like, I spent probably the first hour of this stream talking about how Xbox needs to do better and stop releasing games half broken. Stop sending out broken review codes. Actually try and deliver a game that's, hitting from all angles. I'm a realist, right? I don't like to sugarcoat things. I say it how it is. But for some reason, you know, you've got the racist J-Dub who seems to have a hate boner against me for some reason. You've got the, well, you've got the Predator in, you know, Reforge, who seems to have a hate boner against me. And then you've got the others that seem to have a hate boner against me. It's really weird. The problem is they actually think I care. Nothing to do with what, JB? Yeah, they went after Hogue as well. I mean, what Hogue said was technically not wrong, considering Sony just lost $4 billion with Bungie and Firewalk, right? They lost $4 billion. That's a lot of money just to throw away and have no return on. Xbox would have had a say in it. The buck will still stop with Xbox with that one. It's their exclusive. They also funded a hell of a lot of the project, and they, supported the studio in relocation and everything. They did a lot during the development of that project, especially after things turned sour between, their homeland. So they definitely had a hand in it. And they could have stopped it. They could have easily stopped it. Companies can't release their games if Xbox says no. You're not legally allowed to release it without their permission. They have to kind of sign it off. And they clearly played it and signed it off. And anyway, the release of Stalker 2 is not bad. It's the review codes that went out that were bad. I had my gameplay playing and it wasn't bad. People over-exaggerated it because it is what it is. But here's my stance on this, right? PlayStation is Concord. I've said, right? If Sony want to buy Kadokawa, I don't really care. Firstly, because I don't care about 9 out of 10 of the games they release. But secondly, for me, it makes no difference because I have every platform. If it's not available on one, I'll get it on the other. So for them coming after me on this, I'm definitely not the person they want to be coming after. Because if it's not available on Xbox, I can always play it on PC. If it's not available on PC, I can play it on my PS5 Pro that I got for $100. I can play it anywhere I want. I've got the capability of that choice. So for them to come after me is a bit weird. Now, what I did say is the anime rights which is why Sony are going after this transaction, is purely the anime rights. It will give Sony 90% anime rights in the West, which is basically a monopoly. And I said, that should probably not happen. But if they buy from software, they buy it. Microsoft bought ABK, and they bought Bethesda. Fair is fair. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But do you know what is hypocritical, chat? Do you remember all of these ponies? They were like, consolidation is bad. Consolidation is killing the industry. Consolidation ruins gaming. All of this buying is the end of gaming. 5 seconds later, Sony is looking at From Software. Consolidation is good! Let's go! That's what you call a hypocrite. It is not. But my thing is the anime industry. You know, Sony should not be owning a monopoly in the anime industry. No one should own a monopoly. Monopolies are bad, right? It gives the companies way too much power, and they shouldn't have it. So the regulators should step in, and if Sony does buy Kadokawa, they should divest the anime portion of it and make it a separate entity, just like how the FTC is trying to do with ABK right now for no reason whatsoever. But in this situation, they absolutely should be doing that. They won't, and this deal would go through without any hitches. But that was the point I made. Is what I'm saying hypocritical? Or is what the pony is saying hypocritical? Bear in mind, I said I don't care. You know, if they buy from software, they buy it. At the end of the day, if Microsoft is going to buy studios, and they're probably going to buy more, there's no reason why Sony shouldn't do the same. So I've got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is an actual monopoly within the anime scene, and I think that's a concern for people that do enjoy anime. No. I get the implications for gamers. I do. Now, what will be interesting is if the deal does go through and Sony does buy them, and then obviously Sony is going to make them all exclusive, it's going to be interesting to see how Microsoft reacts to that. Because they will react to that. Make no mistake, they will react to that. And that's what I want to see. They will react to it. See, Bags? That's exactly what I said. So is what I said, Bags, wrong? Is there anything wrong with what I've said as a statement on my view on this buyout? Considering Kadokawa is currently in the midst of a hostile takeover from Kakao. Kadokawa does not want to sell to Kakao, and so they are looking for someone to sell to so they can avoid the hostile takeover. That's why this whole thing is happening, because Kakao is trying to do a hostile takeover of Kadokawa, and they are within their rights to do it, and Kadokawa doesn't want it, so they're looking for anyone else that can now buy them on at a, you know, obviously a good price, but so they can stop that from happening. I don't know anything about Kakao, by the way. I don't know anything about that company, so I literally cannot comment on it. Yeah, I know nothing about them. All I know is that they're trying to do a hostile takeover, and Kadokawa does not want it. But yeah, apparently I'm crying and I'm molding and I'm teething and seething and whatnot because Sony could buy From Software. Buddy, if I didn't have a PlayStation and a PC, that might have been a thing for me to get a little upset. But newsflash, I kinda do. But I get it sucks for Xbox only players. You know, those that like, you know, the Souls games, it's gonna suck. But I genuinely don't understand their hate boner with me. They really, really do not like me lately. It's it's starting to become a fetish for them. I don't pay attention to it, Bags. I'm just not. I just don't care. Hey, Hollofied. I'm just not that childish. I will call out people that are being dumb, right? I will call out people that are being stupid, like I did earlier with that thing, or like this one over here, right? What James did here was beyond disgraceful. What James did here is absolutely disgusting. It's despicable. You know, if I was Destin, I would fucking send him a letter from the courts for slander. Because what he did in this clip was bang out of order. He basically cut different, like serial killers do, where they kind of clip certain things together to make them say something, or like serial crime committers, they think they're a mastermind where they cut content clips with words and they stick it together so it forces you to say something you didn't say because it makes them feel that they have some kind of superiority complex over you by showing that they can do some video editing and make you say some stuff. He basically did that to Destin, and I think that is despicable. And he has had a lot of people come after him. So stuff like this, sure, I will call it out, and I will say that James is an absolute dickhead for doing it. But that's not console warring. That's just calling out a prick. Yeah, we can watch the clip. It's completely put him out of context, and I'll link the actual video as well, because if you listen to the video, and I'll stop it in intervals anyway, so you kind of get the bigger picture of what's being said here.
Xbox just bought Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. But I think in the future, all of the games will be Xbox exclusives. I think it's the same argument. It's the exact same argument. It's just more money. So if you can only play Call of Duty on Xbox, if you can only play the biggest selling shooter in the world on Xbox, you're going to get an Xbox, right?
And up until this point, what Destin said was pretty much what everyone was assuming anyway when the deal was going through. No one assumed Microsoft was going to go multi-plat.
PlayStation is in talks to acquire the parent company of From Software. That means that they could soon own massive titles like Bloodborne and Armored Core. My concern lies with what does the future hold for titles like a Bloodborne remake or Bloodborne 2 or Armored Core in the future. This is one situation where...
So if you watch the actual video of From Destin, which is here, I'll link it so you can check it out later if you actually want to. But if you watch the actual video, what he's actually saying is, what he's concerned with is what this actually means for Bloodborne. Will this mean that, they do a 60 FPS patch? Will they actually make a sequel? will they actually, do something with the, by bringing in From Software to in-house, will they now actually do something with the actual IP? Not what was being portrayed here.
It seems like most people online are left feeling a little bit uneasy about the idea of From Software being acquired. I think them purchasing someplace like From Software would likely mean that they make those titles exclusive.
Obviously.
Xbox is more about having an open ecosystem. PlayStation is largely about having a closed ecosystem. So if there was ever another Elden Ring or another Armored Core, there is a higher potential that PlayStation would make those at least exclusive to PlayStation and PC, but time would tell. It absolutely would have a PlayStation.
So where he's actually cutting it out, he's cutting out all the context that comes after, which is referring to the anime side of things from Kadakawa. So where he was talking about, the implications of them owning From Software, he cuts out the part that talks about immediately, by the way, literally immediately, talking about the anime side of things. So he's cutting all of that out and just trying to make it look like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about because Bloodborne is a PlayStation IP anyway. So he's trying to make him look stupid and dumb. But now he's twisting his words and making it sound like he is saying something completely different to what he's actually saying, which essentially is slander.
Requirement, a PSN requirement, locking hundreds of thousands of people, at least hundreds of thousands, if not millions of players out of being able to purchase and interact with these games.
And that last point there was referring to, Helldivers and stuff like that. And what implications will it have to PC gamers now who can play those games, like Elden Ring and whatnot? What will it mean when Sony actually take over? If they do take over, will they still be able to play it? And if not, it's sad times, right? The actual context of it is so different to what's being said here. And this prick actually thought that this was funny to do. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Talking falsely behind people's backs is not right. So I will call stuff like that out, right? I will. But that isn't console warring. At least not in my eyes. Might be, you guys might see it as console warring, but I don't see it as console warring. Hey, Susanna, I appreciate that super chat. Thanks for calling it out. I appreciate it, dude.
Susano Allah Richard tipped $3.33 through Super Chat. Thanks for calling it out.
Pete, it actually is because he's now had loads of people tagging him and sending him messages, basically throwing shade at him because he doesn't even know that Bloodborne is a PlayStation IP. And he's had hundreds of people doing that to him on his social profile. It's misinformation at the, on a stupid level. It's criticizing someone's knowledge within the industry, considering his whole job is based on knowledge. So it actually is. Video purposefully cherry picks clips to give false impressions of Destin's take on the acquisition. I mean, at least talk about people factually and not, don't make shit up. I hate that sort of thing. But Shenmue 3 is may potentially come to Xbox finally as they transfer, the game to Inin, the publishing company that was pretty much exclusively releasing on PlayStation, is getting rid of the Shenmue 3 license. And they're giving it, well, not exclusively, but Sony had an exclusive deal with Deep Silver. They're giving it to Inin. So for those of you that wanted to play Shenmue 3, you may be in luck. It may yet still happen. I mean, come on, Guilty Spark is an easy thing to forget. Considering Halo hasn't given, Xbox hasn't given two shits about Halo for the past, 10 years? Maybe if 343 remembered what Halo was, other people would too. Maybe now they are. Who knows? We'll see what the next Halo is like. But this is cool. I'm hopefully more people will be able to experience this because it's an interesting game. It failed phenomenally. No one on PlayStation bought it. No surprise there. But sales numbers flopped really hard, so making a Shenmue 4 may not be in the cards, and I don't think they actually finished the story either properly. They still left it on a cliffhanger, unfortunately. He actually thought PlayStation fans were going to buy the game, and he quickly realized that they were not. It was a Kickstarter, yeah. Basically, they needed... The Kickstarter was going to fund, I think, 20%, 25%, and Sony was going to fund the rest. But no one on PlayStation bought it. Again, no surprise. Oh, me too, Chille. That was day one support. Even came with there was even a special tier that you could register for, and it comes with a actual phone number that you can call at the time. And if you actually dialed that number, you got a message from one of the characters in the game telling you to go somewhere, or it just gave you some information for the game, inside the game, for something to do something. It was really cool. Couch PvP, what is this? Virtual Fighters Megamix. That was so cool. Who remembers Fighters Megamix? You could actually use the Daytona car to fight. Ventura, the US version, they cancelled Shenmue 2 in the US because during that time, Sega and Xbox were in talks to actually become one with their console. So God knows what Xbox would have been called, but it was basically going to be a collaboration between Sega and Microsoft to release a console. And they wanted to kind of bring back continue the Dreamcast heritage, and that's why it was exclusive in the US to Xbox. And had the game sold well, because no one in the US bought it either, apparently, on Xbox. Clearly, everyone wants this game. No one just wants to pay for this game. Had it done well, we may have actually seen a Sega and Xbox collaboration on a console. But clearly, neither PlayStation or Xbox want this game enough to make waves or make the game actually materialize. Is Shenmue free on Xbox? Did it eventually release? I need to change Bing. I swear to God, Bing is so crap. I don't know if it was available at launch. No, it's not. Hope restored for Shenmue 3 as fans. The publishing rights for Shenmue 3 have been transferred to publisher In Games, opening up an array of exciting possibilities. In a press release confirming the thing, Shenmue 3 finally could be coming to other consoles after half a decade as a PlayStation exclusive. Shenmue 3 is not on Xbox. Shenmue 1 and 2 probably is, but the third one was not. So this could actually finally bring the third one over to Xbox, which in my opinion is great news, because it'll at least get you guys to, it'll get people to be able to continue the story and hit the next roadblock in the narrative, and then you'll wait another decade for the other one to come out. By the way, did anyone read about that story where some dude was streaming pirated Nintendo games on Twitch, and Nintendo sent them a cease and desist in doing so, with a court with basically a fine of $7 million? I mean, Sanchez, that was one of the reasons that took me to Xbox in the first place. Bags, Nintendo is suing him for $7 million. Million. Because he was playing games, streaming games pirated early release, and it was showing people on stream how they can go and download the games and download the keys, and it was hosting the keys and showing them how you can run the emulator and the best settings to do it. And Sony said, right. Oh, not Sony, sorry. Nintendo said, right, my dude, here's a $7 million fine. Hopefully, this should teach you next time not to do it. You say that. You say that, right? You say that. But this dude just implicated himself. I mean, at least when you've got news like that coming out, where Nintendo is saying, I'm going to fine you 7 million USD, don't be dumb and say shit like this. Don't do it, man. Don't. It's so fun. You've got to be a special kind of stupid to do that. At a time when Nintendo is literally just trigger happy with fining people. literally turning around and implicating yourself as a pirate of Nintendo games is probably not the number one thing you should do on your bingo card. But Sea of Stars, for those of you that have played it, not sure, it's a very good RPG. I haven't finished it yet, but I do want to. 6 million players since launch. That's actually pretty sweet, and they are very happy with it. Has anyone here played? Bags, they do not mess around at all. But hey, if you want to go over to Twitter and start publicizing that you're playing pirated games, if you are, not saying you are, Nintendo, I am not implicating him in saying he is playing it, just in case. By all means, feel free to do what that guy did, because that was just stupid. Six million players, though, is pretty damn sweet, and they are super happy with this, and I am super happy for them. You know, it just shows that a game does not have to be, super graphically brilliant in order to, be successful. And in this day and age, I think the more people want super, photorealism graphics, the more problems it's going to cause. I mean, to be fair, JB, that guy did deserve it. And in Trips's case, he's kind of testing the waters. He's basically he's daring Nintendo to do something about it. It does, Chille, but they actually made a profit, a substantial profit on people who purchased the game, to the point where, I think it was like 4 months in, they were talking about making a sequel because they already recovered all of their development costs and everything. So as far as they're concerned, they are more than happy. But this is the news that came out this week, which is pretty damn awesome. Now, console and PC is coming next year. It's not going to be ready this year, which is odd. But in terms of buying your games on your phone or buying your games on console, wherever you want to buy them, you can now play up to 50 games that you own on the cloud, and they just work. If you are an Android user, if you go to, or I guess it should work with iOS as well, if you go to xbox.com/play, it will pretty much, the moment you go there on your phone, ask to install the app onto your phone, and you can do it that way, and it will put it onto your dashboard. But it's pretty cool that they've, this is the phase that I was telling people about that they are moving towards. This is, now they're starting to finally get that whole rhythm in. So where they say this is an Xbox, it now counts as an Xbox. It does indeed include the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV. For the time being, that's what it looks like, Kira. And Genshin Impact. Yep. I mean, Genshin Impact is playable because of Game Pass anyway. But this is really big news. Really, really big news. So they've got 50 games that are actually available for you to now play. Is there an actual list in here of this? So you've got, Annabelle Well, which just recently came out, Mirage, Pandora's, Balatro. Everyone seems to be going crazy over that. Banishers, Cyberpunk, Dragon Quest is a good one on there. The whole of the Pixel Remaster, Final Fantasy XIV, Dying Light. Hades is another good one that can be done on there. Kenna Bridges Spirits, Lost Crown, Outlaws, Stray, Plucky Squire, The Division 2, Visions of Mana, Witcher. Wasn't thing on there as well. Baldur's Gate 3. So for those of you that want your fix of Baldur's Gate 3, it's right there. Because you're still having trouble, huh? But hey, D-Batch said it plays perfectly fine. But the fact that they can do this now on mobile, and this is, the big push that they're doing, everything kind of now stems on this working. Everything Microsoft is building is based on this. This is their whole plan. They really need this to succeed. And if it succeeds, then they're about to have a lot more console users than people realize. Because every one of those that are connecting to an endpoint via the cloud is connecting to a console. And if these people are in the millions, obviously we don't have numbers, I'm just spitballing here, that looks very lucrative to third-party developers. This is actually new because you couldn't do it before. Not publicly, anyway. It was available in the beta, but for the insiders, but it wasn't available to the public. You say that, Bags, but so did Sony. You can now play PlayStation 5 games on your PlayStation Portal. No console required. And the PlayStation Portal, as we know, doesn't actually count as a console. It's an accessory. So I know I've seen a few PlayStation fans out there doing mental gymnastics, saying that it is a console and start weighing up the cost. It is still cheaper than buying a PS5. But Sony has started now moving into that era as well. Now, the good thing that Sony is doing here is that because it's available on one device, it's a lot more easier to manage in terms of quality control before they push it out elsewhere. I have no doubt, Sanchez, that they are going to continue. And the thing is, if Sony do buy Kadokawa, which is a real possibility, that's going to be the catalyst for Microsoft to open the floodgates. And that's going to be interesting to watch. Oh yeah, PlayStation is moving slower. But they're moving in the same direction. Anyone saying that they're not is delusional. They are moving in the same direction. They are watching what Xbox is doing. Microsoft would have moved a lot slower, right? Where Microsoft is now, they would have been here 10 years later. But the ABK deal has accelerated their plans, especially with the knowledge base that they gained. Don't forget, they gained King, who is one of the biggest mobile game publishers in the mobile industry. Not the biggest, but they're one of the biggest. That knowledge was invaluable, and as they said in their earnings call, it's accelerated our plans by 10 years. So, where this transition would have taken time and patience as it moved along, by them actually acquiring ABK, and all they cared really about was King anyway, it's accelerated their plans by 10 years. And that's why you're seeing a much more aggressive push now from Xbox, because their plans have been moved forward. Sony, on the other hand, are watching what Xbox is doing. They're seeing how people are reacting, and if Microsoft starts reporting crazy numbers, you can bet your bottom dollar that Sony's going to be straight up with that, making sure mobile devices and tablets can run PS5 games, because that's the next step for them. But that's going to come way faster if Microsoft can show that this strategy, what they're trying to do, is working. Because then you have people buying games on, and playing it on a console, because you're still remoting into a console, not a PC, and you then become you essentially become a console owner. I think Nintendo is going to enter. I think Nintendo 2028, 2030 is when we'll see, somewhere between those 2 years is when we're going to see the first games from Nintendo going to PC. That's my fault. Don't get me wrong, I really want to try this out and see how it actually works compared to my Steam Deck, but it is still too expensive. I originally said that the Portal is only worth $129.99. It is not worth the $200 that they're asking for it. Now that it can play PS5 games without the need for a PS5, I guess you can say that it's gone up to $149.99. I think that's the ceiling of what it's worth. That £50 extra is crazy, considering all you're getting is a tablet and two things stuck onto it. Oh, Kira, for me, it's just comparing, right? Like I want to get the X Real glasses, which is why I've been you know keeping an with the super chats and stuff coming in, I've been keeping that on, keeping a tally of that, and once it gets to that 300 mark, then I'm going to put the rest on top, and actually, because obviously, YouTube take like 30% of that, so I'll put the rest on top and buy it. I can't afford to outright buy it, but the super chats that are coming in is going towards. I just like to compare gear, compare stuff. So I'll be comparing the X Real cloud gaming to the Meta Quest cloud gaming. And in regards to this, it's just comparing for myself how it compares with the Steam Deck. It's just a personal thing, and I'll make videos and showcase the differences from my own personal experience. The G Cloud is way too overpriced. It's way too overpriced. It's like 300 quid, right? If I remember correctly. £320. That thing shouldn't be any more than 150. Maybe 179.99 tops, but 319.99 is it's crazy money. At least that's what it was some time ago. I don't know what the price of it is now. But I still think the PS Portal was way overpriced, so it's a no for me. Hey, Django6, how's it going? But you know. Again, I want to compare the hardware. But one day, I mean, on eBay they're dropping down to like to about 160 at the moment. I've seen a couple for 140, just a little bit more. I mean, Nintendo is on a rampage at the moment, right? They're trying to destroy everything. I mean, if they start fining people, taking people to court for $7 to $10 million per person, people will eventually think twice about getting involved. That Sandland game didn't came and went. It's a shame. Again, he kind of asked for it with what he was doing. Nintendo was not going to sit idly by and just let him do what he was doing. Nintendo is all about setting examples. And that dude got set an example. Not nice, but like I said, he really asked for it. Yeah, I mean, I thought Sandland would have done better than it did. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's on the internet. All they need to do is update the next game to work on keys that won't work on there. All they need to do is get rid of the actual developers. And it looks like what they're doing is hiring them. How is the PSP scene for custom firmware after Dark Alex left? Once Dark Alex left the PSP scene, how did it end up? Sanchez, they probably aren't wrong. It's a really good game. I really enjoyed it. Awesome stuff, Devastator. No, but what I'm saying is, I mean, you can rip a game, but if the custom firmware can't run it, it's useless, right? Ripping a game means nothing. You need the custom firmware to run it. And the PSP scene proved quite quickly that removing key elements of the industry, well, of the people doing it, quickly destroys the motivation to continue. And Sony threatened to sue them with a lot of money. I mean, Sony just hired Dark Alex, right? They turned around and told Dark Alex, hey, look, we can't beat you. How about you join us? We give you enough money and you become our security expert in plugging the holes. And he said, okay. And he went and worked for Sony. And then he started plugging the holes. With each firmware, he knew where to look, what to look for. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end of easy homebrewing. In games if it's well, chat, I think I'm going to call it there. I've had very little sleep myself, so if there's nothing else that anyone wants to add to this, I'm going to call it a night because I am feeling really shattered. We're going to be doing our members stream tomorrow, so hopefully people will, have become a member, or you can become a member before we start or during the show if you want to take part. By all means, feel free to stop by, and we'll be doing some stuff. I did want to touch on one last thing before we depart quickly. Back for Blood seems to be getting a sequel for those of you that are interested. It's got a code name Gobi 2. And finally, as Chille was saying, we'll end on a high. Final Fantasy XIV Mobile seems to be real, and it is happening. And they do have a small trailer of it running on mobile. So this is Final Fantasy XIV running on mobile. I mean, it looks pretty sweet on mobile. That's really, really impressive for mobile. I don't know what mobile is going to run this, but get your £1,500 mobile phones ready. Do you know what, Steve? One day there will be some Gears news. One day. But until then, this is I'm impressed if mobile looks like this. Kira at the moment is native. Clearly the best franchise to exist.
Are you there? It's me. Pray return to the waking sands at your earliest convenience.
For those wanting to pre-register, ffxivmobile.com, you can register for free for a chance to get into, I guess, the beta when it comes out. But chat, that's it. I know, right, Bags? That's it for me. I hope that I'll see a bunch of you tomorrow. And with that, make sure for those of you that are going in the exclusion zone, stay safe out there. It is rather dangerous, as at least I've come to figure out. Going gung-ho is not the way. Bad things happen. Really, really bad things happen. Have a good night, folks. Peace out and remain legend. And thank you for all the likes and super chat there. Appreciate it. Bye. Bags has always admitted that he's an Xbox. He loves Xbox. He just likes to troll you all. That's all it is. He's got like 4 Xboxes at home already. The Halo Edition, the Special Edition, the Standard Edition, and the White Edition. All digital. He's got them all lined up, all stacked together. Have a good one, folks.